Deputy Maria Bailey, sharing with Minister Davey in English.
Thank you, Ciarán. And just for the record, I'm not a landlord, and I feel important that I need to declare that. And just to declare also was I wasn't at the protest because I was actually dealing with an issue in my own local authority where we have a pinch point of a site, and I was actually teasing through towards getting a solution on those sites, and that's where I deem my time as most appropriate, is actually finding answers to real problems rather than just saying we're going to do something without doing it. But so while I welcome the fact that other members of this House are putting forward some suggestions, and while I welcome the fact that some of them are financial suggestions, I still don't see any physical policies of how you are physically going to put bricks and mortars on any of these sites. And if it was as easy as you were making it out to be, it would have been done a long time ago. And whilst we all recognise the very difficult circumstances individuals and families are currently going through, we have to support them through a range of measures while we are getting supply back on track. I hear deputies in this chamber stating that what we spend on emergency accommodation should be spent on building houses. And while I fundamentally don't disagree with that, I never hear how they're going to house those vulnerable people in the interim while we get these houses up and running. So, Ciarán Comhairle, I've sat here for 2 hours and not once have I interrupted anybody in this House. Those families and individuals are in very vulnerable situations which can be complex and varied and require very tailored solutions. Broad statements do not solve these cases. I'd rather give people hope that is based on solid foundation rather than false promises. I would rather talk about the difficulties we are trying to tackle in an honest way, rather than misleading people and telling people not to transfer from RAS to HAP, or to not take emergency accommodation or a family hub and to hold out in a hotel room, rather than take HAP or a family hub until the forever home is being delivered. I find that disingenuous and misleading. And as a parent of 2 small children, I find that really disingenuous. I would prefer if people would engage with qualified agencies who have the expertise and who are in a position to give the best advice to people involved and the facilities that are available to them. You cannot build a house without architectural drawings or engineering drawings, and you cannot throw extra money at something without saying how you will implement it. It's easy to throw away extra money when it's somebody else's money. This is taxpayers' money that we have a duty to spend in a transparent manner. It is not as simple as throwing a box of Lego on a site and houses appear. Housing developments need roads, water, public transport, schools, shops and other services. We are trying to build communities here, not isolated islands or ghost estates of the past. And clearly something is working if of March of this year 25,000 homes were granted planning permission and due to be on site. So clearly some policies are working here. I see Sinn Féin calling for the abolition of property tax over the next couple of years, yet they want to put a tax on anybody with a second home. And a lot of these people with second homes are accidental landlords. And all you are doing is moving figures around a page and being disingenuous and preying on vulnerability. Rebuilding Ireland is working, and we are seeing progress, albeit not at the paces that we all want. We are 2 years into a 5-year programme across all 5 pillars, which will have to work together, and we are seeing progress. We are turning a corner here. And bearing in mind there are tweaks that are needed in the rental sector and other areas, we never said Rebuilding Ireland was perfect, but it's a strong policy platform and is and will have the required outcome. The motion before us makes reference to the affordability in housing, and we are starting to see movement in this area. But rightly, and I make no apologies for this, we have focused on the most vulnerable people in society first. Local authorities have circulars from the department. They don't need a circular, though, to come forward with affordable schemes. And in my own area in Dáil, and I just want to correct for the record, it is not a Fianna Fáil councillor that brought this forward. It was Councillor John Bailey, Councillor Michael Merrigan and Councillor Shane O'Brien of Sinn Féin that brought the proposal forward for the Shankill site. But there's many other local authorities that are bringing forward tangible solutions to housing. What we need is to get this right so we don't repeat the mistakes that my generation had to deal with and are still bearing the scars. And I still remember queuing overnight at marketing suites to put a check down on schemes that weren't yet built, and the following week those schemes going up by 10 or 20 or 30,000. I still remember those days, and I'm going to make damn sure that they don't happen again. Corla, I didn't interrupt anybody else, and I show people respect in this chamber.
Show respect to other colleagues in this chamber.
Please, please.